Here we are. We've talked about this for years. It is an
Yes,
honor and privilege to introduce you today. 6 years Marines,
yes,
21 years Army,
correct.
leadership positions, education positions.
Yes.
Pastor Jamal Jenkins, thank you for sharing your story.
God bless you. Yes. I grew up in a historic place, Montgomery, Alabama. Um, in that city, I was just like any other kid that had dreams and aspiration of doing different things in life. Really didn't know where I wanted to go, but it was something that fascinated me about the military. My mom, she served in the military 10 years prior to me even enlisting into the service. But it started really when I was in middle school. Back then, they offered what this thing was, the different different clubs, if you will, and throughout the school, DECA, honor society, whatever it might have been. But they offered junior ROTC, and for the first time, I said, well, maybe that's something that I could do. That really furthered my intrigue and interest and learning. Even now I'm 16 years old, 17 years old. Now I'm actually doing things just like the military.
You're invested at this point a
I'm
little
I'm
bit.
in it.
Yeah.
I'm in it. And what really tied the bow to it, we did several things in junior RTC or in RTC in high school where we would go on trips and competitions and things of that nature. But we went on a trip to Paris Island, South Carolina. I was in 10th grade. The first couple of days that we were there, we was going through the same thing that the actual Marine Corps recruits was going through, and I think it was about the third, fourth day, whatever it might have been, when they kind of got loose and then say, hey, we did that for a reason, so you can guys get the feel of what it was really like and all that kind of stuff, and then it went from there. But even at that moment, I'm like, man, I could do this.
1990
Yeah,
boot camp.
yeah.
What can you tell me about that?
Oh my
Not just
goodness.
compared to today, but just your first,
Oh my.
when you realized, oh man, this is very real.
Oh man. I think that's what I had on the inside of me. I think I'm saying, hey, this is no joke. I got these guys screaming and hollering at me, telling me to get on the footprints, telling me to get off the footprints, and just going through the whole process. The one thing I do remember quite vividly is that I told myself, no matter how hard it gets, I'm not going to quit. No matter how tough it may seem, I'm not going to give up. It's a lot of great things about basic training that you won't get in everyday life.
Sure.
Working together with people who you have never met, never known, never grew up with, unless it's like me and my buddy Jonathan, which is another funny story about that. I can say real quick that we went on the buddy system, but once we got to basic training, we was in two different platoons.
Competition.
I'm like, wow. I mean, we was thinking we was gonna be there together, but nevertheless, it you have to learn to adapt and overcome. You have to learn how to work well with others. It teaches you, how to build teamwork, if you will, and it gets you in the mindset that you're just not army of one or a person of your own. You're not a one man band. So it forces you to work well with others.
What was the experience like for you and your mom when you graduated that
Oh my
basic?
goodness, my mom, she was probably one of the proudest persons on earth, because she knew I had it, but had it in me. But to see me off and to come back as this new Jamal. I went in probably still a teenager mindset, still, somebody who's still trying to find his way to come back now like a full-grown man in a different shell, different outlook on life. I mean, walking upright and proud, and I knew that inspired her, that motivated her, that gave her a sense of relief and comfort, knowing that I accomplished one of the toughest things that I could ever at that time ever accomplish as an individual. So she was a proud mom. I know she was.
So something you had touched on during basic training, and this is something I definitely feel people should prepare for if they are considering the
Yes.
service. Good leadership is great leadership.
Yes.
Bad leadership is a nightmare.
Yes.
Could you speak to the value of potentially trying to learn a bit of serenity, what one can and cannot change, how you can make your impact in the face of that? Because that's a pretty big thing in the military, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Leadership failures.
Yes. Yes. Leaders are just that. They lead. And if you have good ones, you won't run across things where you have to figure it out on your own. Good leaders know how to evaluate every situation and then come up with the best possible courses of action or solutions. Good leaders take it personal. It is almost like saying, like, if I really care about you, I'm going to show you right, wrong, good and bad, whether it hurts your feelings or whether it makes you happy on the inside. Those are good leaders. Bad leaders tend to shy away from all of that I just said. And most of the time, because they are leaders, bad leadership really focuses on themselves. They don't look at the inner workings of an individual. They don't look at the outer dynamics that might be influencing somebody's shortcomings, because they really, to be truthful, don't care as much, because it's more of a self thing than than a them thing. Working with them. Good leadership is what it takes to get any situation the best results. And I value good leadership. And the thing about bad leadership, it doesn't mean that they can't turn out to be good. It's just they go through a different glide path to be good leaders. However, when we're talking about good leaders, I think it's built from something that's internal. It has to be who you are at the end of the day. It has to be something that you really take pride in, something that you really say, you know what, I will do everything I can, even if my life depended on it, to make sure that person who's up under my charge is taken care of. And throughout life, throughout service, you can tell right away whether you got somebody who's really there for you or not. And most times not, a person that really, really cares is going to be that person that you value as a good leader, somebody that you can always go to, somebody you can always turn to. And I think that's huge when we're talking about this military experience.
So relationships are extremely important.
Yes.
And I know one of the words most often associated with the service is camaraderie.
Yes.
You mentioned Big Brother, right, for the squad leader. Mm-hmm. Could you, as a former leader, senior leader of a military unit, could you break down how that unit functions as a type of family organism?
Sure.
With good leadership, bad leadership, lower enlisted, brand new second lieutenants, and all these different parts. Could you just dive into that family unit for us?
Oh my goodness. Oh man. man, in anything you want peace, you want assurance, you want to be valued. When we're talking about family as it relates to military experiences, relationships, the family aspect of it is almost in a sense saying, you know what, no matter what, I'm gonna die for you. I'm gonna lay down my life for you. I'm gonna ensure that you have everything that you need. And when you look at that, and that builds the camaraderie that you mentioned, because if I know that I can go to my big brother, my squad leader, my platoon sergeant, platoon daddy, my first sergeant. If I know if I can go to these individuals and they're not going to look at me and turn me away because of something they don't like, or they're not going to turn me away because they're having a bad day. When we talking about the family aspect of it all, it takes a family. We always say in a lot of small communities, it takes a village to raise, children. Same aspect when we talking about the military. We always use we only as strong as our weakest person, right? So to look at somebody who just came into the military or into your unit, and whether you have somebody that's been there forever, that person want to bring that individual in to say, you know what, you're a part of this family. Why? Because every family is different. Every unit is different. Every squad is different. Every platoon is different. And with that difference, you want somebody who appreciates being a part of that particular outfit, that particular group of individuals. When you see one, you see the other. When you see one doing one thing, you see the other one doing the same thing, and it's almost like a mirror effect, because what you get out of one, you're gonna get out the other, and you can only build that through the camaraderie and the relationship that you build over time. Sure, nothing ever happens overnight, but when you get somebody new, or when you've been there with somebody for years, you've grown that. It's become a part of what they do. It becomes a part of who they are. It's the identity that you get from being a part of whatever said, unit you might be in. And that's the uniqueness of it. That's and not only that, if I'm in trouble, I know who I can turn to. If I have issues, I know who I can turn to. And that's the uniqueness of it. And that's the beauty of it. Even how we have been in the past. We've had that connection, and that's what that when you think about camaraderie, it's a connection. We're connected together, and it's hard to break that up. When I went to Marine Reserve, it was probably 6 months after I'm reserved that Desert Storm actually happened. So I went from.
So you are now.
I was basic training. 6 months later, Desert Storm happened. Man, we were in Desert Storm for almost 6 months, if not 6 months, and man, I was dealing with, when you're in reserve, you're dealing with people from all over the place, and you got to remember that a lot of these people, they have full-time jobs and things of that nature. And I can remember a couple of characters that were from the Birmingham area, soldiers, real different, because they came up from a real colorful background, but yet they are Marines. Mm-hmm. And it was funny because they had the Marine mentality, but they also had the street life mentality with them. So that was different.
Every walk of life.
Yeah,
is there.
That was different, and to be able to kind of filter what was needed at that particular moment in time was special. I mean, it was something you had to be there to understand, obviously. But what I can recall is that a lot of them, were able to manage not being a part of their civilian life, right, and their civilian need. They were able to manage that, put that to the side, and focus highly on the moment of being in combat. It was unique.
Sure.
All of these guys from all of these different walks of life, how we came together as a unit. We prayed a lot. We you know, in combat you always have that element of the unknown, but we were there for one another. And I can remember my team leader at the time. Um, he was a funny guy. He's a white guy.
We're pretty funny.
Yeah, and I say he's funny because he taught me, you know, different things, being, you know, new to the unit, but he had a comical moment where he left what he needed in the truck. We rode on trucks throughout the comeback, 5 tons, and he left his pro mask or protective mask in the truck when we was getting out, and then we were preparing for the Republican Guard counterattack. And I'm looking at him, and it's dark. We can't see anything. And I'm telling him, I'm like, well, don't look at mine. You're not going to get my pro mask. But he was a funny guy, but he meant well, and he cared.
Sure.
And he took me up on his wing, and he showed me a lot of different things as far as the military goes, the Marine goes in that particular unit. But you know, I had moments like that are spotty, but I can remember like it was just yesterday because we all were together in that thing, and it was a blessing to be a part of that outfit. I was a private first class. I got promoted to Lance Corporal when we came back, but I got meritoriously promoted to Corporal. Now, in this unit, corporals are almost like squad leaders because they don't have a
Same
lot.
job, less pay.
There you go. And being a corporal was a pretty cool thing because now you can wear the blood stripes on the side of your pants in the Marines, which I thought that was like the bridge of now I've arrived basic moment in the Marines. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it tremendously, being a leader now. And now as a squad leader, I'm learning what it takes to now take care of, you know, guys that's up under me at that moment. 1996, I'm corporal, I'm doing my thing. Um, Decision point to like, okay, what am I going to do now? I'm up for reenlistment, basically. And I was ready to get back. I was ready. Now I'm ready to go active duty, to be honest with you, because I'm like, yeah, I did this reserve thing. I need the full brunt of it. Same time, I'm working for a t-shirt plant. Russell Athletics is what it is. And I'm there, and I'm doing good and great things there. You know, moving my way up through the plant like I've been doing all my life. Don't stay too low too long. And I was up for a position at the plant that they were going to need me to go to school, and they didn't want to send me because of whatever the reasons. And me, being me, I said, well, wait a minute. Before I let you dictate my future here at this place, I can go in the military and dictate my own future. So this is what led me to actually go active duty in the Marines. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna try to go active duty. I went and sought out my Marine Corps recruiter, say, hey, I'm ready to go active duty. But the Marine recruiter said, yeah, we can let you in, but you won't be wearing corporate stripes. You have to go back down. You have to go down to E3. I'm like, well, that's odd. What? You know how hard I had to work for this corporate stripe? I said, I don't know about that. So right across the hallway was this Army recruiter, and he said, "Well, yeah, we'll let you keep it, right?" And his thing was, we don't know if you'll be able to keep the stripe. We'll definitely be able to keep you the rank itself, which is it's a parallel rank. And I'm like, if I can keep E4, yeah, sign me up. So I different, right? But they told me that I had to keep the MOS if it was available, if they had a need there. Obviously, infantry always have a need, by the way. So I had to stay infantry. So now I'm a 11 Bravo in the Army after being an 0311 in the Marines. So rifleman, and that was okay. And it didn't bother me. It's just what it was at the time. You know, I didn't get all wrapped around the hinges because what I wanted to do something different. It was what it was. I'm familiar with it. Okay, let's go and make it happen. So that's kind of my mindset behind it. So I'm an infantryman in the Army. My first assignment, so I came in '96 time frame at Fort Campbell, assigned to the 3rd Battalion, 327 Battle Force. I was here for 2 to 3 years actually, to '99 when I went to Korea. I'm sorry, in '98, and then went to Korea, came back in '99. So I went to Fort Campbell, went to Korea, came back, and I stayed here from '99 to about 2001. Went to Hawaii and came back.
This is the thing. People, you talk about this, and people out here in the world are like, man, I'm just struggling to keep my job at Waffle House.
Yeah.
The opportunities for adventure and experience and growth are so profound in the service. Like, how many other people from your town in Alabama, aside from you and Jonathan and your mom, were service members? And would you say that the service brought you more opportunities than a lot of the people in your community?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a lot of service people. Montgomery, Alabama is not a small city, so you're gonna get quite a few, but probably about a good small percentage of people from that city are military. But just coming into the military in itself, it was a great opportunity that a lot of people don't get to experience. And by me choosing this route, it just opened up so many opportunities for me to see different places, different cultures, different ways of life that I know I never would have gotten to see had I stayed in Montgomery. I knew that from the get-go. That's why I told my mom when I graduated, I'm going to the service. So, and it led me through all these different adventures.
And now he's in Hawaii.
And now I'm in Hawaii. Amen.
So
9/11 itself, obviously because I've been in, I've served already, I understood what it means to lay down your life for your friend. But 9/11, it shifted the atmosphere in such a way that because something happened in our backyard, something happened right on our front doorstep. It changed the mindset. Like we're not removed from disaster happening, and for people to see it up close in plain text, it gave you this sense that, man, we got to go in and let the world really know who they messing with. So to go into 9/11, and even prior to even us, because I was in Hawaii at the time when it happened, and everybody in Hawaii was like, well, if Hawaii go, there's something real big, that type of mindset. But even training up to it, and when we got the word that we was going, it was a difference in the way we actually thought about, like, hey, we are truly Americans. We are truly getting ready to go and fight this thing that is bigger than us. And it made us all really come together even harder, or even more, I should say. But Now we knew this was for real. Now all of those moments where we're telling soldiers, hey, yeah, this is why we train, this is why we do what we do, is now at the forefront. And even to, so because I know I can remember how I felt in Desert Storm prior to us even crossing the the DMZ or whatever we called it at that time. We were all funning in the sun on one day, but when we got word that we was moving and to cross where this minefield at the time, you was like, man, this is for real.
Mm-hmm.
And then seeing all I had a moment where we saw all the tanks blowing up on the highway to the hell or whatever they call it, and seeing all the Republican Guard giving up or surrendering, I should say. And I remember what that felt like, right? And now I'm in this thing with 9/11 in Iraq and the difference. I knew what that war moment felt like, and now I've got soldiers who I've trained with, where we've talked about it. We've went through the sweat and the blood and all that to get to this point. The realness is what I wanted to make guys aware of it, and that's what I can remember so vaguely, like because of my Desert Storm experience. Like,
Sure.
this is for real.
Every soldier and veteran knows this. The weight is too much
Yeah.
for a lot of us.
Yeah,
Over 20 of us
Yeah.
taking our own lives every day.
Yeah.
The weight is a tremendous
Yeah.
part of that.
yeah.
How have you found your resilience? What do what is that journey for you, if you would speak to that?
Oh man, it's a everyday. Um, I don't want to say struggle, but it's a everyday commitment, I should say, to wanting to be there in the right way. I say it like that, because your family, every family dynamic is different, obviously, but your family means so much to you, and you don't want to let them down. So it takes a lot of soul searching, a lot of suppressing in a lot of moments what you've been through when they don't understand it. I can speak to my wife. Because she's been there through a lot of my deployments, and to know how to separate the two is the challenge. So how do you? I always ask myself. So before I speak, before I react, make sure I am focused on where I am, and make sure I understand the moment. Because if you don't, you'll find yourself still in a moment that may not be what is needed at the time. And what has helped me is to look at 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 the place where I want to make sure I'm at when I'm dealing with family. Uh, Deep meditation, uh, deep soul searching within myself to say, okay, let me deconflict all those moments that I had that were really life threatening moments, because those moments will arise in moments or in ways that you may not be able to be prepared for. And sometimes when you find yourself in those moments, or when I find myself in those moments, I try to, control my breathing, control my thoughts, and it's not easy. It's not easy. But when you look at your family and you look at how much you love them and how much you want to be there for them, so sometimes you just got to find a happy place, uh, And when you're in that happy place, try to stay in a happy place. Because combat is not easy, is not pretty, and memories they come back when they want to come back. What I've done over the last several years is I've tried to remove myself from things that bring me back to things that I don't want to be in. So a lot of war movies I don't even watch, to be honest with you. You don't put yourself in places where it reminds you of where you were at. So I don't find myself doing those things, and then a lot of just you know self awareness, understanding where you are at that moment in time, and just doing fun things with your family, and that can just keep you at peace. I find myself doing a lot of praying. I'm always in constant prayer and meditation, like I said before, to try to keep me in a place. I've seen a lot, but the Lord has helped me with a lot. He has helped me find a place of peace where I didn't have when I first came back. I mean, I couldn't sleep at all. I wake up in places or in positions where my wife would have to like, hey, but just to stay in calmness, and staying at peace. Trying to make sure you don't, have those things, those triggers. Is what a lot of people say they are. And if I find myself in those moments, like I said, I try to do my best to calm myself down, breathing treatments, if you will, and just try to stay in a happy place. There's nothing about it is ever easy, and if I got somebody who I can call who's been there with me, I call them. Say, hey man, what's going on? And reach out to those who can relate to what you've been through.
How big of a part of all of this has God been in your life?
All of it.
All of it.
All of it.
Could you elaborate, please?
I mentioned when I was 18, going on 19 in Desert Storm, not realizing I was coming home at 18, 19 years old. I don't know if people can understand the magnitude of that, like not knowing if you're going to come home. And that was the first time my family ever had to endure me being over, in a combat situation, young. But if it was that group of guys who I was talking about earlier that came together, and every night we prayed. We had a prayer session every night until we came home. And I knew God had to be a part of everything that I do military-wise, because if I'm going to be a part of a organization that's going to remove me from a place of peace to a place of chaos, and a place where you may not come back again, I knew God had to be a part of it. Had to be. It was no question. In Iraq, we had chaplains that would come around and conduct services. Afghanistan, we had chaplains that came around and we held services. So I knew I had to have God on my side through it all. Moments in Afghanistan where, it was some testy moments, and I can recall saying, Lord, just get me through this. Just get me through this. And not just me, but all of us, obviously, but he had to be a part of it. And I knew people was back home that was praying for my health and my well-being, and even to this day I can look back and know that he had a great hand in everything that I've done. Oh man, since I can remember, and that's what made it very easy for me to like come into this ministry that I'm a part of now, because I've always been a person that wanted to help others, to help them in ways. In my military career, to be honest with you, it didn't reach its pinnacle until I actually knew that I was in there for other young soldiers. Even as a first sergeant, I was a first sergeant, but at first I'm like, okay, what do I need to do for me? What do I need to do, to get to this and that? What school do I need to go to? And all this type of stuff. And
you get there and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, right. And I'm looking at soldiers who I've had to, train, and I'm like, the Lord spoke to me like, that's who it's about right there. It's not about you, it's about them. And when I took that responsibility on internally, Lord, I'm here for these soldiers. Mm-hmm. Soldiers come, and now, we got the newness of what they are, allowing to be soldiers, if you will. I said, I need to be there for these soldiers. I need to make sure they are ready. I need to make sure they are equipped what they need to be able to come back to their families. And when I said that, when I spoke that, they say when you speak it into the atmosphere, you speak life into it. I spoke that, and I knew that was that was my calling. And that point is when my career, because I think I was a sergeant first class at the time too when I first spoke that. That's when my career, and that's when things start to move in a different light for me in that arena.
Walk me through those years.
Oh man,
those I would say the peak impact.
Yeah.
Jamal Jenkins.
Yeah.
You're where you need to be.
Yeah.
For the rest of your military career.
Yeah. Yeah. As a sergeant first class, platoon sergeant, I had those moments where I knew that was my true calling. We was getting ready for Afghanistan, 2009, I would say, 2009, almost 2010, way into 2010. We're training, and we're going through different EIB training, expert infantry rifleman training, and I'm looking at it like, man, I need to make sure these guys are on it. I need to make sure these guys are getting what they need. Going to JRTC multiple times. I knew, like, if they can just learn and embrace what is in front of us, then they'll be okay. Getting into Afghanistan in that first go around, oh my goodness.
So you're a platoon sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your own COP.
Yep, combat outpost, Camp Sharana, and we were at my COP. And what was interesting about that, and what was unique about that, is that I was a platoon sergeant with my outpost. My main company was a little bit further down the way with my first sergeant and a couple of other platoons. So I'm in a unique position in itself because I don't have my first sergeant there. It's just me as the senior guy on a command post with another platoon, Delta platoon, and I'm responsible for everything that goes on at that post. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize the magnitude at the moment, but looking back on it, man, I was in a position to really be influential to a lot of scenarios and situations at that moment. And we had some moments, but it grew me even more so in the military. It grew me even more so as a leader, because now I don't have Dad, Wilcox. They checked on me from time to time. And my commander, who's now, I think he made full-bird colonel now, he and I had such a great relationship with Wilcox. They trusted me, of all people, to be the one who's going to be at this particular post. And we was talking about family earlier. Now we are having the opportunity to be able to reach out to family in a different way now, because when we was in Desert Storm, the way to reach back to family was in these big, gigantic tents that you had to wait long lines for, and the connectability and all that was very different. You only had a few moments that you can, hey, I'm doing great, call you, gotta go. Now at this point in life with technology and whatnot, we was able to be connected, a lot better, a lot. I think Skype was a thing that was going on at the time, and that was a good thing. And me being in charge of this command post, I had my own satellite phone. So I was able to call home, not when I wanted to, but at moments where a lot of people didn't have that opportunity. But my wife enjoyed that. But it was a very, very exciting growth time for me during those moments in Afghanistan, and learned so much about me. Sure. And about just being that type of combat leader, because it's, matter of fact, I was responsible for building up that post. Mm-hmm. Didn't know anything about that. Didn't know anything about being a site manager, if you will. How to build a landing, strip for helicopters and things of that nature, and building up chow halls that wasn't there before, and building up living quarters that wasn't there before. Everything. I didn't know anything about that. And then to be able to report all that back to higher and all that kind of stuff. So it was a good learning point for me.
Before we move to the last real bit of your service story, are there any honorable mentions of your soldiers during those deployments that you would like to recognize for something they did?
One individual in particular, he wasn't really in my platoon at this outpost that I was talking about. He was a part of the Delta company that was there. However, he was mine because everybody was on that COP belonged to me, so to speak. PFC Bird, he's medic. He was such a blessing to so many people, great-spirited, so helpful, knew his job, came to the deployment late. But when he got there, in bird fashion, went on a mission and really saved the life of others in his own life being taken. That really showed a lot of people what it takes to really be there for one another. I think he got awarded the Silver Star, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But young but fired up to do his job. Young but didn't see a bad day. Everybody loved him. Everybody respected him, and I don't even think I don't believe he was. I'm not going to say he wasn't supposed to go out on that mission, but I think he volunteered to go out, even though he had just gotten back in the country. But the wherewithal to be there for his soldiers, the people who was up under his care, he's the one that really stands out to me, because so many people loved him and respected him, and he lost his life. That was one of the ones who really hits home for me, because, like I said, it happened so quick. And hit what he meant to so many people at that time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm assuming after that last deployment, 2009, leading into the one in 2013,
correct.
Between those, I would assume that you were promoted to first sergeant.
I was. I told you just recently about how I was the only platoon in my company. On platoon sergeant in my company, who was able to take on that big responsibility. And the military, what you do and your potential for what they want is supposed to mirror up with one another. So what I've done should have in turn mirrored up with the potential I have for the next higher grade. And when we came back, I think shortly a year, I think or two after we come back, I get promotable. However, they didn't give me a first sergeant slot in that particular company, or that battalion, I should say. So I'm thinking, hey, I can come back and I'm promotable. It wasn't a year or two. It was the next year or the next promotion cycle. I get promotable, so I'm one of very few in the battalion who's promotable, who should get his own company. It didn't happen. Wait a minute. I'm thinking I'm rock solid. I think I'm all of this, and I don't get my own company. The people who've seen what I've done, and you don't give me a company in First Battalion. I'm like, what's going on? I go see another sergeant major to say, what's going on? He tells me, don't worry, Jenkins. It's just the way it goes sometimes. You keep doing what you need to do. Little did I know, Sergeant Major Christensen from 2nd Battalion, we're doing EIB training. He comes and I'm just throwing stuff out and seeing what sticks. Hey, you got a job down there? He tells me, he say, well, just I don't have a job right now, but just bring me your NCOERs and your evaluations and your portfolio, and let me just look at it. I do it because I'm hungry. I'm ready for this next step. And sure enough, he said, I don't have a position for you, but I'll let you work in my 3 shop. So now I'm trying to get out of First Battalion.
Explain what that is.
What the 3 shop? The 3 shop is it's the staff. It's a staff. All in every battalion they have staff organizations. So you have a shop just for admin. You have a shop for security. You have a shop for logistics, and then you have a shop for operations. And the 3 shop is the operations staffing section for a battalion, basically.
Were you
what it is.
bugging as an infantryman for however many years in that spot?
I was patient. I was patient with it, but I had patience, but I really was ready to not be there. But I wasn't there too long, I should say, because when I left 1st Battalion, they kind of like didn't really want me to go, but you didn't want me to be a first sergeant in your battalion. So 2nd Battalion welcomed me down there. They didn't have a position down there for me, so as a first sergeant, so I stayed in the S shop, in the 3 shop, in the operations command for a little while until Easy Company, 2nd 506 opened up for me. And this was shortly right before the time that we was getting ready to deploy again, which was a major thing. So they give me this, or they allow me to assume the position in the Easy Company, which is a historic company within itself. Little did I know at the time, but it was a major move for me in my career as an Easy Company first sergeant and getting ready to take them to combat. I thought it was probably one of the highest honors that I could imagine or be held as a senior leader at the time. And it was one of my greatest moments at the same time too. Funny story is I was living in an apartment at the time, and I had a neighbor of mine who I was speaking to one day, and I had told him I was a first sergeant in Easy Company, and he went back and told his dad, and his dad knew the significance of it, and he came back to me days later or whatever the case might be, and he said, "You didn't tell me you was in a first sergeant of Easy Company. You're the man." I'm like, okay, right, but that was a moment when I kind of like knew a little bit of significance of it because people knew the significance of it just outside of it. But I really didn't understand it until I started watching Band of Brothers. And once I got that and understood the history that went with that, I knew. And then not to mention I had a commander that reminded us of what it meant to be a part of Easy Company. So I knew it wasn't no lightweight stuff. It was a big deal.
This is a true honor.
It was a true honor.
Tell me about your peer, Captain Lou Casino.
He was a very detailed, organized, smart man. Knew what it takes to get any job done at his command level. Knew combat strategies, and knew how to get his soldiers to perform at a higher level than a lot of commanders that I didn't know. And by the way, the other commander that I was talking about was Captain Lemire. When it came back to me, I was like, I didn't want to miss that. Captain Lemire, he's an awesome guy. But Casino was family guy too. Very, very likable. Like, and not that captains, not commanders had to be likable, but I think if you got a commander that you can trust, and you can and understand that this is the guy who's taking you into battle, that is not going to make bonehead decisions, life and death decisions that are costly. You can feel good about going into battle with a guy like that. That's the guy who do you want, that understands strategies and understands big picture of it. A lot of times when we talking about combat, and I've been fortunate to be around a lot of combat operations or operational planning, if you will. You want to be able to tell his higher commander the overall big picture and how you're going to fit your outfit into the big picture. And if you can't do that, if you're second guessing your own capabilities, then lives are at stake. And with Captain Casino, he knew it. He knew, and I felt really confident that this guy had his stuff in order, and that's what you want. And like I said, mentioned he was a family guy, and he knew the importance of family, and he knew the importance of good leadership, and that's what we had in that command team, and we balanced it out, and he appreciated what I brought to the table. He appreciated my experience. You know, it wasn't like I'm the commander and it was my way or the highway. He involved us. He involved me, and he pushed those lieutenants. Pushed them and made them really realize the importance of their leadership abilities, and you don't get that all the time. You don't get it all the time, and when you get it, it is a very awesome quality to have in a commander, and that's who he was.
Did you ever think you were going to be a part of something like that?
I never in my wildest dreams thought that I'd be something even close to something like that. Not that I wasn't prepared or ready to, but no.
I mean, it is just a bunch of humans, but the legacy behind
the legacy,
that, and
yeah,
to continue that torch is just...
I mean, Fort Campbell in itself is a legacy unit in itself, just Fort Campbell. And then to understand that you're a part of something that everybody who's anybody associated with the military, especially the Army, knows about the Band of Brothers. Sure. And to be a part of the company, which is probably one of the most colorful awarded units, man, I mean, I got some on my wall right now that says Easy Company, second of 506. Not many people can say that.
Sure.
And I was the first sergeant of that company. Not very many people can say that. And that in itself gives me an appreciation throughout for my whole military career. Like that's what I am tied to. You can't take that away from me. I'm connected to that, and just in his name itself, Band of Brothers. We are a Band of Brothers, and that's powerful.
God is good, dude.
It is. He is.
He gives you some cool things
Yes.
from time to time.
Yeah. A military career. Not a lot of people. I tell people a lot, even when I was in, or when I just retired. Not a lot of people retire out of the military. I think the percentage is under like 10%, or right at around about 10% of anybody who's ever served in the military actually get the opportunity to retire out of the military. And then in that span of you being in, not everybody, quite honestly, I mean, before 9/11, we could definitely say this, but not everybody experienced combat in those periods of being in. And to be able to go through such a myriad of opportunities and experiences throughout my service, and having the Afghanistan Easy Company opportunity, I'm so grateful and honored because nobody knows your story until you actually be able to tell your story, right? So, and a lot of people who I know even now, and probably a lot of my classmates who I hope hear this, they probably would never have fathomed me having such a colorful, prestigious life with the military. Sure. And I've seen a lot, been through a lot, done a lot, and it's been all by the grace of God. But the experiences I've had and the relationships I've encountered and have had opportunities to be a part of is such a powerful and a thing to appreciate, and it's really made me who I am even to this point in my life, because I can appreciate life itself. Life is precious. To see the different cultures that I've seen while in combat, and to see how they don't have a lot of them don't have a vote on their lifestyle in itself, and to see how we live here in the United States and places, it makes you appreciate what we do as Americans, for one, and as citizens of a country who you get the opportunity to choose what you want to do in life. And now to be able to give back. I told you, my career started out about me getting things for me, or achieving things for me. And I get more value out of what I've done for others. I get calls, I get texts, phone calls, from people out of the blue, say, hey, man, or first sergeant or platoon sergeant or whatever the title was at the time, man, what you did for me, and, helped made me who I am. And every time I hear it, I'm in awe and grateful for even to be a part of somebody's life, because you never know what you say, what you do, how impactful it is to others. And if you don't have the mindset to be there to help others, then you'll miss it. We miss moments because life is about moments, and even this moment is about helping others, and that's my greatest fulfillment. Because the day I see the Lord on the other side of this, I want Him to say, well done, good and faithful servant.
One heck of a journey, sir.
Yeah.
Good and faithful servant.
That's it.
Sure.
That's it.
Well, let me show you one or two things real quick. and then I'm going to wrap us up for the day.
Sure.
This has been an absolute honor.
Amen.
Absolutely an honor. Now, this one you haven't got to meet yet, because I think you got out right before she popped up.
Thank you for being the best leader to my dad, and also thank you for bringing my dad and his army buddies from Afghanistan and back safely.
Awesome.
And then I got two more, and then we're going to give ourselves a big hug.
Oh, my goodness. What a blessing.
First Sergeant Jenkins, this is Ann Pursley. Josh is my son. He speaks so highly of you. So we just appreciate your service to our country. We appreciate the way you looked after your men and the respect that that you apparently very well deserved from each one of them. We're just very thankful. That was a hard time. I'm sure not everything about the service is bad, not everything about being deployed is bad, but they do see a lot of things that are very disturbing, and you were apparently a bright spot during that time, and we're just so very thankful for men like you and women that can serve and set such a good example for our sons and daughters. And I'm so very proud of the vocation that you've chosen since you have gotten out of the Army. And I really would love to visit your church sometime. I think that would just be wonderful.
Yes.
But thank you again so much for your service and for who you are.
Hey, man, that's good.
Final.
First Sergeant Jenkins, glad to talk to you. This mainly got to sound real proud of what y'all done in Afghanistan. I hope all of you have got back to normal life after being through that. I was in Vietnam for a short time, so I saw a lot of stuff that bothered me, but that's all behind you, and I hope y'all can get it all behind you. Thank you for being a minister now. That's been a big part of our life, a family.
Amen.
Being in church and the boys growing up in church, and just affected them a lot. But I'm real proud of all of you guys in that outfit. Thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you later.
Amen. Amen. What a blessing. Oh, my goodness.
I just wanted to take a second
Oh, my
and
goodness.
thank you for your part in my life,
Oh, my goodness.
because you have tremendously impacted it.
Amen.
And it's so awesome that it's only beginning.
Yes, sir.
Like this right here
Yes.
can reach so many people that need it a lot more than you or I do.
Yes. Yes.
And it was such an adventure. It was such a journey with you
Yeah.
for all those years.
Yeah.
But it was such a treat to sit with you today.
Amen.
And thank you for sharing your story. And I guess good luck to us on the rest of the family.
Amen.
Got to get all these
Yes,
kids,
yes.
you know.
Good.
So, guys, thank you all for watching. This is First Sergeant Jamal Jenkins.
Yes.
Any follow-up questions, please submit, and we'll probably do this again in a couple of years.
Yes. Amen.
But any last words that you would like to bestow on any potential people that would see this out there in the world?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to say to you, I appreciate this opportunity. Like I said before, anytime we can help impact somebody's life, we should not hesitate to do that. God has given us all the ability to love one another, to be there one for another. It doesn't matter what our race, our background, our religion, whatever it is, because we all serve one God. And I appreciate your efforts and I appreciate what the vision that God has given you into all this, because that takes a strong heart to be able to do that. And I know God has greater things in store with all this through you. I pray for your vision. I pray for your success, and I pray for all those who are watching to know that as long as you continue to love and to build on one another, to grow with one another, we're all family. We need one another. We can't do this alone. Don't try to do it alone. Reach out to somebody. Don't feel like no one wants to hear your story, because everybody has a story. And whatever your story is, it may mirror up with someone else's story to be effective to help us get to where we need to be. I thank God for this opportunity, and I bless you. And I say, go in peace.
I think we got one more thing that we can say for everybody out here. Captain Casino said it good, but you better be a good dude at every opportunity.
At every opportunity.
Thank you guys,
Yes.
and sincerely for watching.
God bless.